All right, guys, so our third topic here is going to shoot us over into the Marvel universe now that we've left the DC news. Now we're in the Marvel news world. And the first thing we got is the upcoming Hawkeye Disney Plus series. Is I think it's almost done in production at this point. We had some set photos from a while back that showed Haley Steinfeld, not really in costume or anything, but it showed her on set there with the dog from which we were assuming is the dog from one of the more recent Hawkeye runs in the comics. And then Jeremy Renner himself has just shared a new photo from set of him in a very much more comic accurate Hawkeye costume, which is kind of cool for anybody out there who's been, wanting to see Hawkeye in a more, even any characters really. It seems like with the Disney Plus series, for whatever, and I'm just pulling the Disney Plus series out of the hat right now because it's the three that have primarily done it as of late. But we've gotten Wanda in her pretty much true rendition of the Scarlet Witch costume, and then spoilers for Falcon and Winter Soldier here briefly. We got Sam in the 100% comic accurate Captain America Falcon costume, and then now we got Hawkeye here in the most accurate representation of Hawkeye from the comics. I mean, as you can see, I just grabbed this one picture. This is just like a T-shirt one of him, but it has the purple little arrow on it, which is like Hawkeye's had a number of different costumes. Like, I hope they don't do a little freaking headpiece on him though. Like, I don't ever see him doing that in the comics. But granted, there was a time where I'm sure a lot of people never would have thought Wanda would have had the crown thing on either, but they pulled that off. So I just don't really see a reason that Hawkeye would wear the mask plate, since he's never worn that to hide his identity in any of these other movies. So it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But we got this, which is pretty cool. And then we have another one. We got some shots of Kamala Khan here, which, again, in a very comic accurate costume here. And there's quite a few pictures of this coming out here on her on set here. So this all looks pretty cool. And like I said, Marvel seems to be Marvel's always done a pretty good job of making their costumes be fairly comic book accurate for the most part. But it seems like with these Disney Plus shows, I don't know, they're just making it, almost seems like they're making it more of a point. You know what I mean? Am I alone on that? Would you guys agree with me on that? That at least as of late in the Disney Plus shows, all the suits have been very accurate representations.
Oh yeah.
So it's just kind of cool. I didn't even know she would have her costume in this, since it's they classically do these introduction stories, these origin stories, and you don't get the costume until the end of the series. You know what I mean? But she's got her costume, because they have to explain how she got her powers. I highly doubt they're going to say that she's an Inhuman. So who the hell knows what they're going to say? Just based on the whole Inhuman fiasco, I don't think Kevin Feige is going to want to have any correlation to that Inhuman stuff. But who knows? Maybe he will redo it. I don't know. I'm actually more curious to see if that's what they're going to do. How are they going to explain her powers and her origin in this? Is something I'm actually interested to see. But what do you guys think of these photos here?
What's the Inhuman thing?
Inhumans?
Yeah.
Well, the Inhumans is a group of characters in the comics where they got their powers in a very different way than mutants and other metahuman kind of stuff. There's these, I forget what they call them, but they're these husks or something.
It's basically alien genetic manipulation. There's an alien species that genetically leaves a substance on Earth that genetically alters humans and gives them powers. So it's genetic manipulation by an alien species that does it. But they did a Inhuman TV show pilot, and the Inhumans were also a plot point on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show that ran on ABC for a number of years. And the Inhuman plot or pilot that they did was released to some pretty terrible reviews.
Oh, it wasn't just a pilot. It was the whole series.
Did they actually run the series? I thought they did the pilot. I forgot that they released the whole series. It only ran for one season, and it was
awful.
It wasn't good, apparently. I never watched it because...
Dude, it was so bad. It was so bad.
So I think Rob was referencing the fact that they probably don't want to associate with that. Although I don't think Kevin Feige, I think Kevin Feige would be perfectly fine using Inhumans and just saying, when somebody questions them about it in a press tour just saying, "Oh yeah, we don't consider that canon," and like shuffling it
Yeah.
off to the side because they really don't. Even though Clark Gregg was in the Avengers movies and also in Agents of Shield, they really don't reference anything he ever did in Agents of Shield. So I think they would be fine just shuttling that off to the Netflix world of Marvel shows and pretending like it never really happened.
Yeah. Well, this thing too is like I was actually like kind of stoked. And here's the thing too, with Inhumans, it's kind of a sour spot for Feige though, because he announced they were doing an Inhumans movie, but then Ike Perlmutter came in and decided he was going to make an Inhumans TV show. This was back when
Yeah.
he was still over in charge there and was Kevin Feige's boss. So he came in, and this is you can go back and look. I think it was the Phase 3, maybe the Phase 4 announcement, but they had like Kevin Feige announced
Inhumans, yep.
Inhumans, and then they made that stupid TV show. And, like, unfortunately, like they had a good cast in it. Like they had the guy who played Ramsay Bolton in there, and the Inhumans themselves, like the core group of Inhumans, are cool. But like, God, that show was so awful. Like, I didn't even get through it all. I watched first episode and I was just like, "Are you kidding me?" And it was crazy because they actually did like they did a special in theaters like viewing. You could go to the movie theater and pay to see the first
The
episode of
pilot.
the show.
Yep.
And I would have been demanding a refund if I went and paid to see that garbage on like it was terrible.
I remember the name, like Inhumans, but
You're at least as far as the show is concerned, you're not really missing anything.
No,
And I mean,
doesn't
none
sound
of the
like it.
Inhuman characters are like super duper like popular by any means, and like one of them can't even really talk, or he'll kill everybody around him. So I mean, they're cool. Like the main guy, I can't remember his name. I'm just talking about though. He's a part of the Illuminati, if I'm not mistaken.
Black Bolt.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And like the guy who played him is a good actor, but that's the thing. Like they had a good cast. They just they didn't have a good show. Like so it's not their fault. Like, but either way, it's highly disappointing. But that's the only reason I could see them maybe Kevin Feige like really wanting to not bring in the Inhuman stuff because of that history. Like he wanted to do that. But I guess now he could just be like, this is what I was gonna do. Okay, like this is the Inhumans. All right?
Sure.
Like
This could be his, screw you to the to Ike Perlman, be like, "Oh yeah, you thought you could do a show better than me?
Yeah,
Here's how
right.
you actually do this." Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm curious. I'm curious to see more than anything that point with when it comes to the Kamala Khan Miss Marvel show is how they explain her powers, because they could always just say she's a mutant and just go with that, or just say they could not explain it at all, just kind of like Scarlet Witch for the longest time, just like I don't know. Like I guess they kind of made it out to be that she was experimented on, but they could just have that same kind of general backstory for her. Like who knows? Either way. But I'm looking forward to it nonetheless. This and the Hawkeye show, like I never really wanted a Hawkeye show. Like I like Hawkeye. He's cool. I like him in all the movies. Never really cared for his own show. And same with Black Widow. I never really cared for her to have her own movie or anything, but the movie looks great. Like I think it looks really cool. So we'll see.
Dude, I'm telling you, if they hit the tone and feel of the Matt Fraction Hawkeye run, that Hawkeye show might be my favorite Marvel show. Like, because that comic run that it looks like a lot of they're basing a lot of um this off of was just it's one of the best comic runs of the past decade, easily. It was that good. So yeah, I'm super hyped about the Hawkeye one.
See, I feel like I'm in a good place for it because like I have pretty much no expectations for it or
That's
Black
true,
Widow.
yeah.
So like because I was just like I don't even want them to have their own thing. I'm just not interested in it. Not that I don't like I love the characters. They're great in all the movies they're in. I love the characters. I just never cared like I was not asking for kind of like a lot of people weren't asking for a Han Solo movie. I wasn't asking for a Black Widow movie. I thought she was cool the way she was. Like, to use her for whatever. But then the trailers came out and I'm like this actually looks really good. I'm kind of excited to see it now. So I'm presumably I'll probably be the same way with Hawkeye since I have like zero expectations. Maybe they drop a super dope trailer, then I'll probably be pretty hyped for it. Kind of like what happened with Loki. Like I was like, I don't really care about a Loki show. We've had how much Loki have we had for God's sake? But then that trailer came out, and all of a sudden, it's my most anticipated Disney Plus series. So we'll see. So Question is though, guys, what do you think about all this? Are you excited to see that, you know, the comic accurate costumes coming up? Does it get you more excited for the Hawkeye show? Were you already looking forward to it? Same goes with the Miss Marvel Kamala Khan costume. I was surprised to see that she was even in costume at all. I thought they would just kind of introduce her. She's got all the crazy, you know, stretchy powers and all this stuff, and then that'd be it. But no, she looks like, at least presumably, possibly even early on, she's already in costume. So I'm curious to see where that comes into play. So let us know what you think down in the comment section below.